Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a look behind the curtain, really getting into the nuts and bolts of what it takes to pull off something like the Whittlesey Blue Light Weekend 2025.
Yeah, it's more than just, a fun weekend out in August. This thing is a huge logistical challenge. We've gone through all the source material, the planning docs, risk assessments, finances, even performer details.
Right, and the goal for you listening is to really get a sense of the sheer effort involved in running this massive free event. We're talking, what, potentially 25,000 people?
Easily. That was the estimate, same as 2024, but the feedback was that Saturday this year, 2025, was noticeably busier, packed. So the growth is definitely there.
And it's all volunteer run, celebrating emergency services, military veterans. It's quite something for a coastal town.
It really is. Held August 2nd and 3rd this year, spread across the South Prom, Valley Gardens, Italian Gardens, and they had this new military village, too, which seems to have been a huge hit.
Okay, so our mission today is basically to give you the inside track, the shortcut to understanding how they make this massive thing happen year after year.
Exactly. And to do that, you've really got to start with the people behind it, the structure, the engine room, as it were.
Right, the core philosophy. It all goes back to Steve Metcalf, doesn't it? His legacy is central to this whole event.
Absolutely central. Steve, who sadly passed away in 2022, he was Whittlesey RNLI through and through 28 years as a volunteer operations manager.
Wow.
Yeah. And his vision was for this big, high-profile community event, but crucially, it had to be free, accessible to everyone. And it needed to really celebrate and importantly raise funds for the Blue Light Services. Put Whittlesey on the map now.
And that vision that's carried on now by his brother Andy Metcalf and Dave Penson, or Pinot.
That's right. They're the co-directors now. They're basically the keepers of that flame, making sure Steve's original idea stays true while the event keeps growing.
And the sheer dedication needed. I mean, 25,000 people descending on the town. It's run by the community, for the community, they say. That relies on a huge number of volunteers.
It does. The sources mention over 70 core volunteers. 70. But that's just the start. You also get corporate teams pitching in. Premier Modular, for example, they don't just sponsor, they send people, folks like Mark Broom and Rach were mentioned, helping out on site.
So it's a mix of dedicated individuals and corporate support.
Exactly. But the real organizational spine is the management committee. This is where the structure comes in.
Okay, let's get into that. Because it's not just about passion, right? You need serious organizational chops to manage something this complex.
You really do. It's about specific skills, donated expertise. So you start with the co-directors, Andy Metcalf and Dave Penson.
Pinot, yeah.
Yeah, Pinono. They seem to have split responsibilities quite effectively. Andy handles a lot of the digital marketing, the online side of things, getting the word out. Dave Penson is more focused on the physical event, the setup, the safety, making sure everything on the ground works.
Makes sense. Divide and conquer.
Pretty much. Then you get into the really specialist roles. Think about it, land, sea, and air elements. That's complicated.
You've got Ann Bell listed as Maritime Events Director. That sounds like a tough gig dealing with the North Sea.
Incredibly tough. She's coordinating everything happening on the water, liaising with the RNLI, managing safety zones, and as we'll see later, the sea doesn't always cooperate.
No kidding. And then the air display. That sounds even more complex regulation-wise.
Exponentially so. That falls to Dave Walker, or Para-Dave Walker. He's the air display director. The level of technical detail, planning, getting permits from the Civil Aviation Authority, the CAA, it's immense.
Just to get those 10 aircraft safely in the sky over the beach.
Exactly. Months of work beforehand. Compliance is everything. It's a huge responsibility.
It really puts the scale into perspective. It's not just booking some acts. And there are other crucial roles, too. Christina Richardson, liaising with sponsors.
Vital. Absolutely vital. Keeping those sponsors happy is key to the whole thing staying free. Managing those relationships takes real skill.
And someone has to manage the actual volunteers on the day.
Yep, that's Katie Purse, the head of volunteering, coordinating over 70 people plus the corporate teams across 4 different sites. Shift patterns, briefings, making sure everyone's looked after. That's a major logistical task in itself. Probably needs proper scheduling tools, I'd imagine.
You see that expertise across the board. Sam Hawcroft doing digital marketing and advertising alongside Andy Metcalf.
Right, getting the word out effectively. And then you've got Tracy Matthews and Rebecca Metcalf listed as stallholder coordinators.
That sounds important for safety, too. not just placing stalls.
Critical. It's not just about where the burger van goes. It's about maintaining mandatory fire gaps between vendors, ensuring emergency vehicles can always get through. Those access routes are non-negotiable.
And the new military village. That needed its own team.
It did. Dan Welch and Jules Walker were the co-organizers for that, moving vintage military vehicles around, setting up that big Typhoon simulator that presents unique challenges, access, safety, the lot.
So the committee is this whole operational unit. Sally Moforth, Claire Wilkie, Joanne Brooks are mentioned too, adding organizational support.
Yeah, a real team effort. And critically, linking back to the sea, you have Anthony Binhead, apparently as Maritime Safety Coordinator.
Working closely with the RNLI.
Directly alongside Darren Hickey, who's the Withersea RNLI Lifeboat Manager. That coordination is essential for water safety, especially given the challenges they face this year. The whole structure, detailed in their event management plan, it's seriously professional.
And it's this structure, this volunteer power, that lets them operate their unique financial model.
Unique and challenging, definitely. The key is keeping it free to enter. So sponsorships are absolutely fundamental. They have to cover all the big costs, the infrastructure, insurance, security, staging, performers, especially the air show. That's not cheap.
So sponsors cover the running costs.
Right. And that frees up the public donations collected during the weekend to go directly to the charities. It's a clear split. All the money from the buckets, the merchandise goes to the chosen, causes blue light services, life-saving groups like the RNLI, military veterans charities.
And it works. The 2024 event raised £8,000.
Mm-hmm.
How did 2025 look?
Very strong.
Yeah.
The initial figures mentioned in the sources showed at least £5,000 came in pretty quickly just from collections and merchandise. And that TARDIS donation point pulled in £627 all by itself. Just a clever idea, visually appealing. So while they're still finalizing the exact total for 2025, the organizers are confident it will be over £8,000. They definitely beat last year's total.
That's fantastic. It shows the public gets behind it when they know where the money's going.
Mm-hmm.
And sponsors play a big role, too, like Green King Brewery was mentioned.
Yeah, Green King was one of the key sponsors involved, supporting the bar areas, which links into the on-site funding, too. Well, alongside the various mobile food vans who pay for their pitch, they had two main sponsor bar areas. One was Nathan Eiley's bar, which was cleverly placed right inside the new military village.
Ah, strategic.
Very. It provides refreshments where people are gathered, but the revenue it generates directly helps offset the costs of running that specific zone. It's smart, integrated funding. The whole financial setup is designed to maximize public access and charitable giving.
Okay, so we've got the engine room sorted, the people, the structure, the money. That meticulous planning is one thing, but delivering the actual event. Let's dive into the Saturday spectacles.
Saturday really exploded into action with the color run. It's become a signature part of the weekend, hasn't it? A huge visual splash to kick things off.
Yeah, described as the craziest, messiest yet for 2025. And the numbers back that up. An estimated 800 people took part. That's way up on last year.
Significantly up. And managing 800 people covered in powder paint requires serious thought, start line control, finish line flow, first aid points, making sure the powder doesn't drift where it shouldn't.
And they deliberately upped the ante on the mess factor this year, didn't they? Not just powder.
Oh, yeah. There are 19 color powder stations along the route sponsors. Like Kizo IT Solutions had teams manning those, apparently have a blast doing it. But then they added, well, new levels of interaction.
Like custard pie corner.
Custard pie corn. Can you imagine the cleanup? And a foam finish zone, so you're dealing with slippery surfaces, keeping supplies topped up. It adds layers of complexity, but also, clearly, a lot of fun.
And there was that last-minute change with the water feature.
That's a great example of their adaptability. The plan was a big water cannon at the finish. Sounds great. But then an unexpected local hosepipe ban came into effect.
Right.
So quick thinking needed. They switched it out for volunteers armed with buckets of water. Low tech, maybe, but probably just as effective for psyching people. And it shows they could pivot instantly when faced with an unforeseen restriction.
Okay, so after the rainbow cloud settles, the atmosphere needs keeping up. Street music played a big part.
Crucial part. On Saturday, the beat was provided by Whole Samba. They actually led the parade before the color run started.
So not just background noise.
No, it's clever crowd psychology. Their rhythm gives the event energy, directs focus, and helps gently move that big crowd away from the start area and towards the main festival zones. It's practical as well as entertaining.
And for families, they had specific entertainment lined up in the green spaces.
Yeah, over in the Memorial Gardens, they brought in professionals. Abba Dabba Circus were there.
Okay, circus skills.
Exactly. They ran circus workshops, juggling, plate spinning, that kind of thing. Really engaging for kids and families, keeps them occupied. They did these workshops on both Saturday and Sunday afternoons.
Nice.
And on Saturday afternoon, Abba Dabba Circus also put on 2 separate 30-minute acrobat displays right there on the promenade. Good crowd pleasers, but short enough not to block things up for too long. Keeps the flow going.
It sounds like the main prom area was very dynamic, lots of movement. But the Italian Gardens offered something different.
Totally different vibe. Sponsored by Widbest, the Italian Gardens was set up as the weekend's chill-out zone. A place to escape the buzz, sit down, listen to some more relaxed music. Really important to have that contrast.
And it featured local musicians.
Primarily local talent, yeah. On Saturday afternoon, the stage hosted acts like the duo Slack Hand, singer-songwriter Sam Ablett-Kemp, Ellie Pollard, who apparently has quite the voice, and acoustic stuff from Ryan Mosla. A nice mix.
Supporting the local scene.
Definitely. And that community feel continued into the evening. The day's music there finished with the regulars from the Commercial Inn's open mic night. Gary Richardson hosted that session.
So it really grounded the end of the day in the local community after all the big spectacles.
Yeah, a perfect balance. You had the big, messy, high-energy stuff, the professional circus acts, and then this intimate, local finish in the Dardens. Smart programming.
Okay, let's shift focus to something new and apparently very successful for 2025, the Military Village. This sounds like a major addition.
It really was a significant expansion. They located it slightly away from the main seafront buzz, up on the green near Seacroft Road, and it seems to have absolutely captured the public's imagination.
Co-organized by Dan Welch and Julie Walker, you said.
That's right. And it added this whole other dimension, properly bringing in the military veterans aspect alongside the emergency services. Its popularity was huge, apparently.
What was the draw? What did they actually have there? It wasn't just static displays, I gather.
No, definitely not static. It was about immersion. They had some incredible vintage military vehicles. Tom Fox brought his U.S. Army truck, and there was a genuine D-Day landing GMC bolster truck. Seeing that up close must have been quite something.
Gives you a real sense of history.
It does. But the interactive stuff was key, too. The big crowd puller was the RAF Typhoon Simulator. It's a 14-seater motion ride. Gives you a taste of fast jet flight without needing, actual jets and CAA approval over the town.
Oh, good point. A practical alternative.
Yeah.
And did they create the right atmosphere to go with the hardware?
They really did. They had Stephen Howlett performing as Winston Churchill. He gave a speech that really resonated with people. Lots of comments about how moving it was. A moment of reflection amidst the fun.
That's quite powerful.
Yeah. And alongside that, you had displays of regimental flags, lots of stalls from military charities, recruitment stands. Apparently, the engagement at the recruitment stalls was really high, some of the best the forces had seen regionally.
Wow. And the entertainment in the Military Village, in the Star Tent, had a specific theme on Saturday.
Very much so. It was all about wartime nostalgia, that vintage sound. Johnny Victory was on, doing sets of period music, getting the crowd singing along.
Classic feel-good stuff.
Totally. And the Withersea Ladies Choir performed too, bringing that local connection again and encouraging more audience participation.
And I think there was a debut performance that went down particularly well.
Yes. This was highlighted in the notes. Spitfire Sam, a vintage singer, made her debut performance at the event, and apparently she was incredibly well received. A really warm welcome from the big crowds there. Shows they got the tone just right.
That's great to hear. And they topped it off with some nationally known headliners.
They did. To round off the Saturday entertainment in the Military Village, they had a trio from the D-Day Darlings perform.
From Britain's Got Talent.
The very same. Having performers with that kind of national profile really underlines the ambition and quality they were aiming for with this new zone. A very polished, professional end to the day's themed entertainment there.
Creating a whole new zone like that from scratch. It must have been exhausting, but rewarding for the organizers. You mentioned an anecdote from Julie Walker.
Yeah, it really captures that volunteer spirit. She
Yeah.
apparently said that on Sunday she was completely wiped out, but happily so. She just took a moment to stand back, watch the crowds enjoying the village, and got quite emotional.
A tear in her eye, the note said.
Exactly. Because she felt they'd really achieved their goal. The village had helped put Withersea on the map. That mix of utter exhaustion and deep pride. That's what drives these events. Think about it. Camouflage netting, power supplies, safety routes for a whole new area. They had to figure all that out.
A huge undertaking. It's
Yeah.
amazing how they integrated that with the established seafront parts. Right. Let's look up now. Sunday was all about the air show, wasn't it? And also some challenges down on the water.
Sunday morning, all eyes definitely turn upwards. The air show is the big anchor event for the Sunday, arguably the largest free display of its kind in the North, and, as we touched on, the most complex bit to organize.
Right. This is where Dave Walker and the flying display director, Barry Neal, really earned their stripes, coordinating 10 aircraft.
Yeah.
What does that actually involve beyond just booking them?
Oh, it's layers and layers of safety and regulation, constant back and forth with the CAA. Every single maneuver, the flight path, the minimum altitudes, the display line offshore, it all has to be meticulously planned and approved. They have to demonstrate on paper and through planning that there's zero unacceptable risk to thousands of people watching below.
So the governance structure we talked about earlier directly feeds into making this possible.
Directly. It's regulatory choreography, essentially. Ensuring pilots stick to the plan, dealing with weather contingencies. It's incredibly demanding.
And the aircraft they managed to get for 2025 were pretty special.
Really special. Not just run-of-the-mill stuff. They had a vintage Bell 47 helicopter from 1955. Get this, it's the oldest airworthy one of its type flying in Europe right now.
Wow, that's quite a catch.
It really is. Securing heritage aircraft like that speaks volumes about the event's reputation in the aviation community.
And there was formation flying, too.
Yes, always a crowd favorite. The Fairchild Argus flew in formation with the Boeing Stearman, the Yorkshire Yankee. Looks effortless, but requires incredible precision and adds another layer to the safety planning.
What else stood out?
The Jubilee Pitts biplane with its Union flag colors always looks spectacular, very dynamic. And the Starlings aerobatic duo, they perform those really tight, high-energy routines that get the gasples from the crowd.
And the finale is usually that historical dogfight.
Yeah, the big emotional climax. A mock Second World War battle between a Hawker Hurricane and a Messerschmitt 109.
Sponsored by Electrifying the Sky.
That's the one, a coalition of sponsors making it happen. It looks dramatic, like a real chase, but it's incredibly skilled flying. The pilots have to maintain safe separation while giving the illusion of combat, all within the approved display area over the sea. It's stunning to watch.
Okay, back down on the ground. Sunday morning also featured something slightly less serious. The World Mascot Championship.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yes. Total change of pace, pure silliness held in the Valley Gardens. It's just brilliantly chaotic fun. Mascots racing, falling over. Dave Penson was refereeing, apparently loving trying to keep order amongst the giant furry characters.
Who was competing? Any familiar faces?
Oh, yeah, local heroes. You had Rory and Amber from Hull City FC, Rufus from Hull KR Rugby League. The local newspaper, the Gazette, entered their mascot, Reddit. And Sam Hawcroft, the editor, was apparently inside a Batcat costume.
Batcat?
And Kofi Smiles from local radio was in the Griffalo suit. Just imagine the scene. After various ridiculous games, Amber from Hull City emerged victorious, taking home the trophy.
Brilliant. And music kept things lively during all this.
Absolutely. Sunday street music providers were Bandanarama. They played for the mascot crowd in the Valley Gardens, and then they did mobile performances along the promenade throughout the day. Keeps the energy up everywhere.
And the Italian Garden stage closed out the weekend.
It did. DJ Hatniel played music during the peak air showtime, providing that background vibe. Then live music returned with Connor and Leroy, and the final act of the whole weekend was Bone Mule and Friends, a nice, relaxed musical end to the 2 days.
So we've covered the meticulous planning, the land operations, the spectacular air show. But the sea just wasn't playing ball this year, was it?
That was the big, unavoidable challenge. Back to Ann Bell, the Maritime Events Director. You can plan everything else down to the last detail, but you can't control the North Sea. A heavy swell came in on Saturday.
Which meant cancellations.
Unfortunately, yes. 2 really popular events had to be called off for safety reasons. The sea swims and the raft race. Both rely on relatively calm water.
Safety has to come first, obviously, even with the Maritime Safety Coordinator, Anthony Benz, there.
Absolutely. The conditions were just too rough. So rough, in fact, that the planned big joint rescue demonstration, the one involving RNLI boats from Withensea and Humber, plus the police marine unit that had to be canceled too. Too dangerous even for the professionals to carry out complex maneuvers safely.
Ann Bell's quote about forgetting to tell the North Sea to cooperate. Sums it up perfectly.
It really does, and it affected everyone, even elite athletes. Team GB windsurfer Adam Hoey tried to put on a display, but the conditions were just too dangerous. He had to abandon the attempt.
Wow.
So they had to significantly pare back the maritime side. They managed a shorter, simplified RNLI and Coast Guard exercise on Sunday morning when conditions maybe eased slightly, but the big planned spectacles just weren't possible. It's a stark reminder about contingency planning. You prepare for everything you can control.
But nature gets the final vote sometimes.
Exactly. #tag conclusion.
So when you look back at everything, all the sources, the planning, the execution, the Blue Light Weekend 2025 really does feel like a massive success despite those challenges.
Overwhelmingly so. It achieved that core vision of Steve Metcalf's a huge, vibrant event, drawing massive crowds, celebrating the right people, and crucially, staying free for everyone to attend.
And that free aspect, as Claire Lynn Healing pointed out, is entirely down to that army of volunteers and the generosity of the sponsors. It's a remarkable community effort.
It really is. What we've talked through here is proper event management on a grand scale, not just a village fair.
We've seen the detailed committee structure, the specific roles from maritime director to stallholder coordinator, ensuring fire gaps are kept. The complex funding needed to keep it free, targeting that £8,000 plus charity donation. The sheer regulatory load on the air display director getting CAA sign-off for 10 aircraft.
And the ability to deliver such a varied program, from Spitfire Sam singing vintage tunes in the military village to the Typhoon Simulator from the whole Samba parade to the Hurricane and Messerschmitt dogfight, while also dealing with things like a sudden hosepipe ban forcing them to swap water cannons for buckets. It's incredibly impressive operational skill.
And yet, this whole event celebrates emergency services, people who deal with the unexpected every single day. And the event itself, despite all that meticulous planning, was forced to make major changes because of something totally unpredictable as the sea state.
Which leads us to a really interesting final thought for you, the listener, especially if you're involved in planning anything complex. You look at the Blue Light Weekend, how they plan for everything from heat stroke risks and the crowd management plan, to traffic congestion, to the exact spacing of stalls.
Down to the finest detail.
Right. And yet, an unforeseen change in the North Sea swell forces them to cancel major crowd-pleasing water events at the last minute. So the question is, what's the biggest lesson this teaches us? In a world where we try to plan for every contingency, what does the Blue Light Weekend show us about the ultimate limits of planning, and perhaps more importantly, the critical need for genuine adaptability when faced with truly unpredictable natural forces?
Something definitely worth thinking about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.